Dockside is banned. And does that mean it's the rise of Tymna Thrasios again? No, it doesn't. This deck sucks. Today we're gonna go through my brew of Tymna Thrasios as a resident Thrasios. I wouldn't say expert, because I don't want to be an expert in Thrasios. I just make a lot of Thrasios decks. Some of them good, a lot of them, most of them not good. I think only one's good. And because, you know, the bands, everyone's excited, is this the rise, the return of the king? No, it's not. It's still bad. But here's a list. It's called Copium Green. For all the boomers out there, this is a reference to Medium Green, one of the more popular and competitive Tymna Thrasios decks way back in the day when Flash was legal. And this is me trying to build a TNT deck in today's meta, the new meta. So let's talk about it, right? Tymna Thrasios, I think, is appealing because you have two sides of, like, I hate these words. I hate everything about this. Advantage engines, where Thrasios can tap mana and activate and draw cards, and Tymna plays, you know, if you get into combat, you can pay life and draw cards, and you're like, wow, I'm drawing so many cards, I'm gonna win the game. But somehow, you know, even though you have all these advantage engines, TNT never does well. So I think the idea that the meta being slower means that we have more time to play, more time to do the advantage. Advantage is not a word, like, outside of cEDH. I want to let you all know that. It's not a real thing, okay? So just, like, please get that out of your vocabulary. It's so bad. Okay, so the thinking is that we have more time. And more time in this instance doesn't mean more wins, because that's Rogsai, you know? Time, mana, you win the game. That's Rogthras. More time, more mana, win the game, right? We're playing on a different axis. If you're a TNT fan, you should just, like, click out of this video, because I'm just going to be making fun of TNT the entire time. So, with more time, what we do in this deck is that we draw more do-nothing cards. Okay, let's be a little more serious. How I envision Thrasios, how I kind of perceive TNT, is that Thrasios, kind of like our Rogthras kind of like deck, is Thrasios is an infinite mana outlet, and sometimes you draw cards with it. In this deck, you actually do. I did design it that way, but the intent of Thrasios is that play early to enable Amber. It's our slow Rograk, and also infinite mana payoff, so that our combos in the deck are kind of good. Not really, but, you know, kind of. And then Tymna sometimes lets us draw cards, because the issue is that, you know, everyone out there, everyone in the internet, everyone playing cEDH is like, the format's getting slower. I get to play more creatures. I get to do more things. And you know what happens when they play more creatures? It means that they have more blockers. And if they have more blockers, you know what you do less of? Drawing. So TNT, this is supposed to be like, oh, it's so tough. It's like supposed to be a control deck. I don't know. Okay, let's rein it back in again. So what we're gonna go over today is some of the combos in the deck and how I built this deck, because I think TNT is actually quite difficult to build kind of well in a good functioning form. You can easily build a pile of 4-color cards. Sure, you can do that. But I think TNT is really easy to screw up because it's just not good. Okay, so let's go over the Copium combos first. The combos that we're playing include Thassa's Oracle, Tainted Pact, and Console. You know, we're in Dimir, so, like, we gotta play it. I know, very, very Dimir, very I hate that meme too. I don't know, maybe I'm just in a hateful mood today. We have Kin and Basalt, you know, classic infinite mana combo. Then we have Devoted Druid, because, you know, I'm a Druid stan. If you see my Rogthras, just watch my Rogthras deck tech, please. It's, like, much better. It's a much better deck. But I like Devoted Druid combos, and for, like, I think a reason why D-Druid combo works even better in TNT is Hazel, which is cool, and then also Swift reconfiguration. So also, I'm so sad that Nadu's banned. I built such a good TNT deck with Nadu in the 99. It worked so well layered with Hermit Druid. Go check out that dead deck tech if you want to. Dead. Whole deck is dead. Don't recommend it. Here we have Hazel, Swift Recon, also MGE with Devoted Druid. So any of these things work. I think Hazel is cool because, which is why I have Survival here. If you have a Survival, you tutor for D-Druid, then drop the D-Druid for Hazel, play Hazel, exile D-Druid, your food now makes infinite green, which is cool. You can also do that, I think, with ASC. I think you could do Agatha's Soul Cauldron stuff with the... Actually, didn't think this through. What's new? There has to be an ASC combo here with Devoted Druid, because someone told me that Hazel is basically ASC. I don't think that's the case, because you add -1/-1 encounters and negates a +1/+1, and then you lose the ability. Anyway, ASC is still a good card. We have Ranger Captain, so that alone is like good enough. If you've never seen that happen together, it's such a good combo. So I can talk that a little bit more. I have an article on my Patreon about why ASC is one of the best cards in cEDH and still relevant today. Okay, so we also have the classic Eternal Witness Gaia's Cradle Snap combo. This needs like 6 or 7 creatures in play. Cradle makes 7 green. You have a blue land. I think it's 6. That's all you need. Then you play like Eternal Witness. You snap the Eternal Witness, replay Eternal Witness, pick up snap, and you're untapping Cradle in a blue land and make infinite colors or infinite green, right? So I mentioned this in my other video. Doesn't happen that often, but I think individually these cards are good enough. We also have, what is it? Here it is. Faber Elder, Free from the Real, and also Bloom Tendies. I think Tendies should be here. So I added Free from the Real here because we're playing Faber Elder and also Bloom Tender. So just like a single card, easy way to like win with these things for infinite mana. It's like a little old school, but like we're playing TNT dog, so like this is old school. The reason why I think Faber Elder is like viable here, even though it's kind of slow, is because Faber Elder is a great beater for Tymna, gives us mana, which is great for Thrasios, so it like fits kind of what our commanders need to do. And then like if we're playing this and also Bloom Tender, then Free from the Real, just like single card, ET it, like Enlightened Tutor it, do it, win the game, right? You can also ASC some things, put that ability onto another creature. If someone kills it, then win, right? So I think it's good enough. Like what I realized initially what I tried to do with this deck is I tried to port the Rog Thras deck, the much superior Thrasios deck, to add white and black and trim the red cards, right? That's what I figured I could do, keep most of like the flexible like variety of combo cards that all kind of like layer together or like combo together, and you can make a good deck out of it. Not the same. Losing Rograk, losing that mana advantage in the beginning. Oh, I use advantage. That's bad on me. Losing that kind of like mana with Rograk is just like such a huge setback. So I realized in my initial Goldfishing, the hands are just awful. You just get like a bunch of like A+Bs, except this time we don't have the speed or the quantity of mana to like overcome the issues there. So anyways, that's good to know. If you check the considering pile below here, you'll see there's a lot of cards. And basically I think this is why like these are the combos I would play, is because they're the most compact and kind of like useful cards. I guess Hazel is not that useful. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, you can enchant this with a Free from the Real. Alright, so those are all the combo cards. So first of all, let's get out of the way, that's how we win. And now I want to talk about a couple different nuances, because I think everyone knows what a TNT deck looks like. But I'll go through all the cards and talk about them, because I don't think this deck is like intuitive. And there's a lot of questions probably on why I didn't play certain cards. Okay, first of all, Copium Thrasios cards. I would never play Biomancer's Familiar Training Grounds, like pre-ban. Like just, I've made so many videos about it. I've talked about this so many times. Spending 2 mana in a card to then reduce a Thrasios activation, I might only do once or twice a game, is such a bad use of a card slot. It's such a bad use of my mana. Same thing for Training Grounds, right? There's like this fantasy amongst Thrasios stands that are like, well, if I get these cards and my Seedborn Muse up, every single turn cycle I draw 3 cards, and at the end of the cycle back to my turn, I've drawn 9 cards and I have like 20 cards in hand and I'm unbeatable. That rarely happens, right? What ends up happening back in the like pre-ban is that everyone's so efficient that you don't have time to sink your mana and sink your cards to draw like one card, to like flip over one land, right? Such a bad use of our mana. I don't know if that's like clear enough yet. The Thrasios plan is bad. Please stop trying it. But as I say that, I underestimated how impactful Mana Crypt was to this deck, right? I kind of knew how Mana Crypt applied to all the other decks. This one, Mana Crypt really hurts. And I thought like, well, we have a lot of mana sources. We have Dorks, all this. Who cares about Mana Crypt, right? Rog Thras didn't care. This deck does. Because it's harder to spike a Mana Crypt now to like hit the magic number 4 to activate Thrasios, right? Because sometimes you do it. That's like what Thrash is cool. You know, you get to be reactive. You get to sink unspent mana to draw a card. That's fine, right? As like a fallback plan. Without Mana Crypt, we can't activate like Thrasios ever. It's just so hard to hit 4. So because of that, that's why I put in Training Grounds and Biomancer Familiar, knowing that, you know, playing into the idea that the meta is slower. I don't know how much slower we're talking here, but maybe we get a couple more cards. If this is able to return like, let's say 3 or 4 cards, I'd be slightly happier. Just think about it, okay? If we spent 2 mana on a Biomancer Familiar, and this let us draw 3 cards, but it cost us 6 mana, play Sylvan Library. Sylvan Library gave us 2 extra cards, you know, after 2 mana, and then one more cycle gave us 4 in total, right? For a cost of 2 mana and what is it? 16 life. Quite a lot. But from a mana perspective, much better, right? So, still not sold on it, but if we're playing into a slow meta, it's fine. Seedborn Muse, you gotta play this with Thrasios decks. It's such a, like, it just takes over the game, you know, if you're able to resolve it. I think it'll be a little harder to resolve, and I think we'll talk about that in a bit too. And then Carpet of Flowers, no Mana Crypt, none of that acceleration. I think Carpet of Flowers is even more necessary to be able to convert all that free mana off islands into more cards. So I think that's cool, and or just being able to like use that mana to play something bigger, because I think it's gonna be much harder these days to resolve something like a Smothering Tithe, or resolve something like a Shieldred or Talion, which is why I don't play either of those, because I just don't think we have the mana for it. We'll talk about the mana at the very end, because I think the mana is also quite complex here. All right. Next is Copium Tymna Cards. So these are the cards we're playing to enable Tymna beats. Delny is really good. Delny is just like, if you're able to resolve a Delny, have a Tymna, you just draw so many cards. So I think that's very good. Then we have Kutsil. So Kutsil is our Grand Abolisher, except I don't play Grand Abolisher. I know. Oh god, we're really off the rails now. Rebel's not playing format staple Grand Abolisher. Here's why. Has to go over our mana. I'm just gonna start talking about the mana now. This deck's mana is awful. Alright. Tymna Crom's mana is awful, but it's mostly a Grixis deck with a splash of red. Or a splash of white, right? So if you're able to find one white source, you're generally able to like take your turns, do the things you need to do. Grand Abolisher is a little strained, but not impossible. Right, because you're playing towards Tymna, you're playing towards Esper Sentinel sometimes, one silence in a turn cycle, and then like everything else is blue, lean black with a splash of red to resolve Dockside, right? Like or Crom. That's kind of how it goes. In TNT, totally different. TNT, our mana costs are everywhere. To be able to do like I think Thrasios into Tymna into a 2/3 is hard to fetch for, and I don't trust anyone who says this. They're like, oh, I can just fetch lands perfectly because I'm a genius. That's just not how Magic works, right? Maybe you are. Maybe you're a genius that like, why am I doing Trump hands? That's how tilting Tymna Thrasios is. It's the same thing with Sissa players. They're like, I can tutor my lands perfectly every single time. All right, maybe you beat like the convention of like all the other pro players who play Magic in lower like color decks. You know, that's just being able to hit the right cards, being able to cast all your cards consistently out of your deck is a very difficult task. And a 4-color deck like TNT that like is not as centralized in a plan like TNK they're 2 different beasts, right? So all that said, to me, Grand Abolisher is harder to play than Kutsil, because we're gonna find green. That's the first thing we have to do. We have to find green turn 1, right? You'll see why in a second. But because we're finding green, all we need to do is find the white afterwards, and the colorless at the end doesn't matter, right? It's inefficient compared to Grand Abolisher, but it's easier to cast to me, even though it costs more, because the color cost is like more versatile. So Kutzil, I think, is better in that sense. And also, you know, it attacks better for Tymna, and also kind of may draw cards, additional cards. Shredder is one of my favorite cards, really good, I think, in cEDH, because you have 3x the triggers, or 4x the trigger, 3x, 3 opponents. The potential triggers. If you played a Crom and you see how many times Crom triggers, then you know how many times Shredder triggers, right? Shredder is really good. A lot of you don't play other formats, so, you know, I have to explain this to you. I have also a separate video on why Shredder's good. Go find it. But TLDR, Shredder's great because Shredder filters, and also Shredder is a good beater and will take over the game if you don't deal with it. In the past, Shredder has been less good because games are going by too quickly, right? Even if you shred 5 times, it doesn't matter if you tapped out for a Shredder, they just win the game, right? If the meta's slightly slower and you're able to tap down for a Shredder turn 1, very easy to do, by the way, and then like leave it there and let it develop, it's a great Tymna draw, like, you know, trigger. Also good at blocking, just good to threaten life totals, a very versatile, very good card. Play Shredder, it's a great card. 6. So me trying to find another beater, I thought 6 was the most kind of like playable one at like a somewhat low casting cost of 3, and also just fits our overall plan of doing things like spinning our wheels, getting a lot of resources and not winning. But being able to attack, getting a land card, and being able to play the lands is really important. Also giving your spells retrace is really good. I care more about the lands here because like we have to take like a control deck kind of philosophy, right? If we're playing a slow game or big game, mana matters, right? Us being able to hit our land drops more than our opponents means that we're more likely to be able to, or we are going to be able to take more action, which is more likely to convert into a win, right? It's not definite because our opponents are like playing good decks like Kinnan, and you're like, I don't care about lands. I just like make 20 mana on turn 2, and like you're playing like an old deck that makes 4 mana by turn 3, you know? But still, I think this kind of fits all the boxes, checks all the boxes, and is a pretty good beater. 2/4, you know, hard to trade in combat. So I think this will, you know, it kind of fits both. I tried to think of other good beaters. The issue is just a lot of the really, you know, classically good ones back in the day, like Battle Angels of Tyr cost 4 double white. We're never casting that. Talion, I think, is actually a great card. So if you want to play Talion, you can. I just don't want to pay 4 mana for a creature. I guess it like gives a card back if you deal with it. So, you know, whatever. So that's why 6 is here. Then let's talk about Dorks. Oh god, Dorks. Look at them in their fragile 1 toughness. So whenever you play Dorks, the first thing anyone cEDH will say is like, oh no, the Bowmasters. We're in Bowmaster meta. These cards are unplayable. You play the Dork and then they go tap out Bowmaster, kill your Dork, and now you're down a card. You know, this doesn't do anything. Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. First of all, singleton. I know 3 opponents, but singleton format doesn't mean you're gonna run the Bowmaster every time. But here's the reason why you absolutely need Dorks in this stupid deck. All right, because when I Goldfish this thing, terrible deck. The only way we could even be close to like catching up to something like Rogthras or Rog's High is going turn 1 Dork. I know, cope, just deal with it. All right, we're playing this deck. Turn 1 Dork, turn 2 play land, play a 3-drop. Right, that's the only way our deck, aside from rocks, can come close to what other decks are doing, which is why we have to like kind of take the L here and play like a touch more Dorks, right? We're playing like 3 1 toughness Dorks and also a Tendies, but Tendies is really good. Okay, Tendies is good enough, I think, to play in Rogthras. I've always played Tendies. I don't care if they have the Bowie, just Bowie Tendies. I don't care. If I'm able to get 1 activation out of Tender, fine, happy. So what am I talking about? The 1 toughness thing, yeah. So I think Dorks are really important in the deck just to maximize our strong starts, right? Because this is a mulligan heavy format, right? We want to have good hands. TNT, we're playing kind of like control deck, so we want to minimize the amount of times we mulligan. And the way we do that is by designing our deck to to improve our like ranges of mulligans. We don't have crypt anymore. We don't have like good cards, you know? So we just have to like take a little bit of the L here and play cope dorks. It's how it goes. So we'll see how like this works in the Goldfish too. All right, let's talk about artifacts. So we'll go through the rest of the deck. We have Arcane Signet, Classic, Chrome Mox, yep, Expedition Map. We are a Cradle deck, so EMAP still really good. One of the best ways to find Cradle. Just play on turn 1, crack it, find Cradle. You know, we're good. You can also find utility lands. I think I'm playing Boseiju. I think I'm playing Odawara. Maybe not. I'm also playing the Phase land, so that works too. So you can just still use that to find those utility lands, even if you already found your Cradle in play. So Felwar Stone makes sense. Amber, yup. Diamond, yup. Relic of Legends, really good at all the legends that we have. Thrasios, Tymna, I don't know, Lotho, a bunch of other things. Soul Ring, yeah, we know why. The One Ring, really good card. Wishclaw Talisman Tutor, great. Okay, so all this makes sense. I'm not playing Lotus Petal because we're not that kind of deck, right? If you go like land Petal into this, sure, next turn you take like 3 mana's worth of action. I'd rather just play a card that can consistently feed us back more mana, right? So back to the Dork discussion. If we went turn 1 Dork and you're able to spend this Dork twice to give us 2 mana and someone bowies it afterwards, to me that's better than a Lotus Petal, right? We're not racing here. We're here to like kind of set up a good start, play like a slightly longer game, and then once shields are a little lower, go for it. That doesn't mean this deck is like incapable of winning quickly. It's just not really designed to do that. Because we're playing TNT, that's what you signed up for. All right, let's go through the creatures. We know why this is here. Dranithis is really good, you know. Block commanders. Endurance. I like Endurance because this kind of counts as a Tymna beater. 3/4 reach or flash is good. Being able to shuffle graveyards is good. So I think just flexible enough for us to play this. We know why this is good. Draws cards. This steals a Kinnan for us to win with Basalt Monolith, which is cool. Which is why I like Thrasios decks, because you're able to just be kind of parasitic like that. Lotho, I think, is important. Great source of ramp. Great source of fixing, as I talked about. Kind of like our color restrictions are bad, so that's why Lotho is good. Mockingbird. I think Mockingbird is good in the way that Gilded Drake is good, because we can clone a Kinnan and be parasitic and win. But the important part is that Mockingbird has flying. So another kind of like good Tymna beater, actually, but also just flexible enough to be anything. You know, copy someone else's Orcish Bowmaster and Bowie them, right? We know why this card's good. Op Agent Bowie. All right, 2 good kind of like stacksy, hateful cards. If the game is looking a little slower, these are going to be great cards to flash in. Polywog Prodigy draws us cards. Ranger Captain, we know why it's here. Silences, also really, really good of a Agathis Soul Cauldron. Then Sarah Ascendant. Oh, actually, this should be in the cope. The Tymna beaters. That's a Tymna card. Yeah. So I think looking for a good Tymna beater, you're not going to find a better one. Especially if we're playing for the long game, right? Turn 1 Sarah Ascendant. If they don't have an answer, you know, we're drawing cards. We're lowering life totals. Blue enchantments. These are good, right? Yeah. All right, let's go to instance. Psych Rift. So I don't have Chain of Vapor. I don't have space, but also because we play like stuff like Faber Elder or whatever, I don't want someone to chain our stuff. So because we're here to make mana, I think Psych Rift is fine. Deadly Rollick, important. We're a slower deck, so we need to be able to go play Thrasios, they play their Kinnan, play their Basalt, then you Rollick them, right? Rollick's really important in this deck because I think we tap out a little bit more and we can get our commander out fast. E-Tutor finds lots of stuff, you know, Survival, Swift Recon, MGE, Ristic, Mystic, all that stuff. We know why Fierce is good. We know why Fluster is good. Force of Will, Mental Misstep, yep, all the good cards. All the stuff we see all the time. We have a lot of creatures that are useful. So, you know, another world, like adding a Whirly Tutor is good. Shouldn't talk about this too much. All right, lands. This deck used to have 28, I think, lands. I had technically 30. He's untagged because of the Cradle. I think this deck needs more lands because a lot of the mulligans I had just did not have enough of like land sources to be able to play the game. This deck is really mana hungry. So I think a lot of decks need to play more lands, especially with no Mana Crypt or Dockside. You can no longer go land Imperial Seal Mana Crypt and save your hand, right? You can't do that anymore. That's out of the picture. Or land, you know, you have 2 lands, tutor for dockside, if I am tutor for dockside, do the thing, right? You just can't do that. So because you're unable to have those kind of like lines to save to give you mana to play the game, I think you need to have more lands in general across all decks. Maybe incorrect. I didn't cover this in my Rockfast deck, but I think Shifting Woodland is just like a good card. Being able to turn this into a Basalt Monolith or whatever that you need after they answer it, it's just strong. It's flexible. All right, sorceries. We know why this here is a good card. Meme Bet. I think Meme Bet's one of the best cards in the format. I don't know if it's good in here. I'm going to keep it because I think it's really good, but I don't know if it probably still good. I would say like 70% certainty it's still good. I'm just concerned that the other decks like don't really give us as many useful cards. But hey, like Lotus Petals and stuff are always useful, so we'll keep it. All right, so that's the deck, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through some Goldfishes just to show how smooth it is, hopefully. All right, I think I'll do 3 hands and play them out, or like I'll play out three mock games just to see what it's like. All right, this hand, it's a lot of mana. It's actually I've never seen a hand this stacked with mana, and I kind of like it. So let's think through a plan, right? So the good thing is that this has lots of mana. The bad thing is where we're going to do that mana, right? The fact that Basalt Monolith is very good, which means we're 1 tutor off from finding Kinnan and winning the game, right? So I think just like this, we go turn 1 Basalt, or we hide the Basalt, which I kind of like. Turn 1 Thrasios. We don't want turn 1 Thrasios. We do. Then turn 2 this and activate Thrasios, or turn 1 Pilgrim, mask everything else. Oh my god, my hand's so bad. And then turn 2 this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's no way we can do. If it was 6, it'd be better, I guess. And this is colorless, so we could do this, Thrasios Basalt, and expose to Basalt, which is not my favorite, but you know, if they answer it, they answer it. And then next turn we play this. Granted, we don't draw anything useful. Then we start Thrasios, which is very mediocre, but it's what we signed up for. And we have 3 live draws for this to happen. I think we can be greedier, just because even though it does the Thrasios thing, that's not a game-winning plan, right? Like that's what our earlier mulligans needs to be a little bit better. I'm actually much more inclined to keep this because we have Sentinel draw cards, or we get advantage, or we have Silence, we have Authorical, we have Kinnan, we have this. Turn 2, turn 1 this. We need to spike a land here. If we spike a land, this hand's much better. If we don't spike a land, this hand's really slow. But I'm more inclined if we're going earlier just to keep this, because still turn 1 Sentinel's pretty good. We draw like maybe 2 cards or 1 card off of this. I don't know what the meta's gonna be. I don't know if people are gonna stop playing rocks on turn 1. I don't know. But how you make this decision is our 2 options is we have a lot of options, right? Our first option is we go here, miss out on card draw, miss a land drop in Nightmare scenario. Then we choose between Thrasios and Esper Sentinel, and it's always Sentinel, right? Thrasios doesn't do anything. So because that's like our kind of end state, no matter what, if we have like bad draws, I think Sentinels always have first. So if we play for a Sentinel, I think this is fine. I don't think we'll get any better because we're playing a terrible deck. So we'll draw Swan Song, that's fine. So actually now this changes the game a little bit, because this means turn 2, if we go birds, hold up Swan Song and Sentinel, versus the other way, where if we don't spike a land off of our Sentinel, then we have to choose between birds and Swan Song, which feels really bad. So I think because of that, I rather do birds. I spent a couple seconds thinking about what land to fetch, because we have to consider what happens when this goes, what part of our hand we want to keep, and I think Silence this is what we're playing for. So yeah, this is still castable, and we're still halfway here. Oh yeah, I said turn 1 birds. So we hit that would be great. So we'll start with Sentinel and pass. Ideally, hopefully, draw 1 card. Did not spike the land we needed. And then draw. We are not spiking the land, which is sad. I guess it's like this, right? And then hold up like Swan Song, Silence, maybe Swan Song something here. I guess there's also an argument to be made. Actually, it is a very good argument to be made. This is not game winning. Like, we're so far behind that I think Training Grounds is actually the way to go. Because then next turn we can spike that land, Thrasios, and start doing our dumb little Thrasios thing. Or we go Kinnin, right? And then, yeah, we still can't do it. There's no composition where we can do that. So we'll draw one card off of Sentinel. Thank God, alright. Ooh, thank God. In that case, I'm just more inclined to do this. 4. Set this. And just, let's say we rip 3 cards in the cycle. Somehow don't lose the game, right? Somehow, pray to God, we don't lose the game. Draw. And at this point we go, alright. Silence? No? Yeah, it is. Song? Please? No? Okay. Flow 2? Please? And then if this wins, actually I didn't count my mana at all. But then we have what? We have 1 floating. Oh yeah, we're still good. This, and then we win the game. Okay, next hand. Turn 1, Training Grounds, turn 2, Thrasios. Oh, it's so... I just sincerely dislike this deck. I like it, but I also dislike it. So, we can do Imp Seal for like a land or something, and then... Or the other line is we go Training Grounds, Thrasios. Oh, this also makes colorless, so more inclined to Imp Seal for Soul Ring. Soul Ring into here. Do we even have the colors for this? We don't. We could fix to do a 2-drop and do Dranith. Yeah, I guess it's fine. We'll see what we draw. Okay, that fixes everything. Still, let's do I have, is it Scrubland? Scrubland into Soul Ring? No. Don't be silly. We have to like pay our costs. This is the worst land to find. It has to be Bayou. Yeah, because we need to play Thrasios and like other things. So we need to be able to play Thrasios and Tymna. So the configuration's always Bayou into white, blue, the other Tundra. Yeah. So this goes on top. Shuffle, draw, this, yep, here, Breeding Pool, Tundra into Ristic Study, and then we draw 2 cards, draw a card. Alright, now we have 5 manas. 5 manas, we could do this, and activate. No, I mean, if they haven't played their commanders yet, then I think Dranith is the way to go. We could also play 6, but we do have a land drop next turn, so I actually don't care about 6 at the moment. Sorry, 6. Oh, that's really interesting. We could consult for Thoracle 6, pitch this, recast consult, the retrace. That's cool. Yeah. How much mana does that cost? That costs, I need to have this in play. So that's costs 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. 1 black, 2 blue, another black. And this can get around the thing. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I play it this turn? I think I did. Yeah, last turn I did all the other things. So 5 mana. So 5 mana, I do want to play 6, and I do want to play Dranith. I actually don't care about Dranith. If you resolve your commander, I don't care. Or I do care. Because I want to also try and ram this through. So this costs 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can also end step the consultation to split the cost. If I do that, non-land cards have retrace. I can also just retrace this right now. Let's think. What do we care about? I think this is a little too heads up, so I think we play this way. It's less heads up, because they're more inclined to remove the Dranith. Who will ever care about 6? Let's say I draw 1 card off this cycle. Draw. Cool. So if we want to go with a complete protected line, we could do that. It depends, I guess, like how the board state goes. If we feel like everyone has cards up, this is never getting through. So if that's the case, we just go Training Grounds and the big T-man himself. I would also go to combat though, and then return what? A land card? Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah. So just another thing in piloting is you always want to see more cards first before you commit to everything. So we should attack first, and then play this 1, 2, 3, and then play the Sarah Ascendant off here because non-cards have retrace. Yeah. So now we have a big beater. And then end step, activate, Thras. Great, fantastic. And then we will go to our turn, draw. Okay, now let's reveal more cards. Hit that Passeju, perfect. And then go for it, right? So we're floating 1 colorless. Is this not enough? Because we need black. We need double black. We're floating 1 colorless, double black, we need blue. And I pitch this. Okay. So because I picked this up, I have to play this. So I should do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, right? So now we got double blue, but black. Yeah. So if this resolves, it might. Then we go console, Thoracle, 2, 3, that's 6, and then we flip it over, then retrace the thing. That's cool. Never thought about that win before. All right, here's hand number 3. This one, I mean, we have turn 1 Remora, but if we don't spike a land, I guess if our opponents don't feed our Remora, this hand's like not super good, I think. So I'm gonna just shuffle it. This one, this is like a classic like Tymna hand. There we go, all the beaters. We have a tutor. Slow though. So we'll go to 6. This one, I actually like this one a lot more because we have a tutor, we have Kinnan, we have a silence, we have a draw source, we have another kind of like combo piece. So we just put one away. I'm gonna put away the Ranger Captain actually because I like these two together having more mana. And Ranger Captain's like preventative, so it's like whatever. Draw. Ooh, that's good. Play this. Fetch for... We want more blue, so it's gonna be... What is it? What is it called? Trop. Let's find Trop. Let's not overthink it. And then draw a card. Play this. Tap 2. We'll play Kinnan. Play this. Double green. Play double blue. Play this. Then maybe draw 1 card. Or 2 cards. And then we'll draw this one. Cradle, great. Cradle, double green, blue, Thras, green, floating. Play this. Play Deidre, no. Play Cradle. Floating green, do this. Yeah, just to hold up a Thrasios activation. So let's say we rip 1 card. That's a good one. And then we'll Thrasios draw. Now the question is, how do we win safely? Draw. So what we do, oh, this also taps for double. We have lots of mana now. Let's put these aside. That pays for EFG or MG. This, I was thinking about finding white. I was thinking about finding Tundra because now we can't play this, which is why this, I was saying the mana is like pretty important. We could just do this and then, you know what? Let's keep it simple. Let's just MG. If they have it, they have it. If they don't, you know, whatever. Let's say MG gets countered. MG gets countered. So what's the next step? That works. We could... No, we don't have enough black. This taps for 4, 5, 6 potentially. 7, 8. So much mana. Oh, that is cool. I have not played land for turn yet either. So we'll play land for turn 6, 7, 8, 9. I was thinking something else. I was thinking about finding a Hazel on top and activating Kinnan while Hazel's in response to this activation, kill the Developed Druid, but which call tutors to hand. So, which does not fix our mana problem. We could find an enchantment to put on top, or an artifact. I mean, I'm overthinking this, right? We just find a Basalt, and then do the thing, activate Thrasios, draw the card, play it, and it's enough mana, right? Yeah, this is white, find Basalt, play Basalt, no, activate Thrasios, draw it, untap, and then play Basalt Monolith and hope we win. Draw some cards. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, deck works. So that's the deck. If you want to check it out, you know, link in the description. You probably did that already. And, you know, if you want to talk about it more, you could sub to my Patreon and talk to me on Discord about TNT. Don't know why you want to do that. But if you really like playing mediocre 4-color piles that spins its wheels and is suboptimal in every sense, but if this looks like your kind of jam, all the more power to you, you know? Hope I really sold this deck to you. Okay, thanks for watching, everyone. See you all next time. Bye-bye.